draft special. In the 2013 NFL Draft, 63 players were selected from the Southeastern Athletic Conference. That was the most ever in one draft from a conference. And who better to evaluate the talent in this year's draft than LSU head coach Les Miles? We keep the conversation going. Johnny Football, you guys had a plan. You were sensational against Johnny Football. I could make the case that against you guys, the worst performance of his career. How did you do it? What do you think of Johnny Manziel as a pro?
I think Johnny Manziel will have the opportunity to make big plays in the NFL game with his feet. He had really improved from one year to the next. He'd gotten a lot stronger, and he made some of the down-the-field throws that he needed to make differences. He was on fire versus Alabama. I mean, he lit it up against a very good defense. So the question about Johnny Manziel for me is not necessarily how we played him. We played him with speed. We played him with a position on the field that, you know, we wanted to control him. We took Odell Beckham and we played him at quarterback for about a 10-minute period that showed our defense the speed. That's not really what's going to happen to him in the NFL. In the NFL, he's going to have to study that throwing game and be able to make plays with his arm. He does that. I think somebody will like him in the NFL. Interesting.
A.J. McCarron. Are you a believer in A.J. McCarron at the NFL level?
Well, I hate to tell you, for you to say that I don't believe in a guy who had a lot of success against me, it's going to be hard. He did the things that Alabama asked him to do. He made plays. It's interesting. You don't tell that quarterback to win the game when you have a great defense and a good running game. You tell that quarterback to manage the game, and I think they did a great job of that.
I hear those words, and I personally don't believe that's a knock. Some people do, when you say manage the game, and look at the great talent on Alabama. How much of that success is McCarron? How much of that success is the program, the coach, the players at Alabama?
Well, irrespective, the position that player has is to allow his team to win. For him to go in there and say, I'm taking it over, he doesn't need to take it over. He needs to fulfill his obligation to the team and execute the plays that are being called, and he did that extremely well.
You think McCarron has an NFL arm?
Yeah, I think he does. I think he's. You understand this? Our guys, they still develop when they go to the NFL. If they're really if they're serious about their craft, they take another stride in the NFL.
Very interesting when you look at the resume for A.J. McCarron. He's going to go, I believe, in round 2 or round 3. Aaron Murray, really interesting prospect. Here's a guy who had a decorated collegiate career. Obviously had to deal with an injury. I don't know if he has an NFL arm, coach, to be honest with you. Where do you think he fits into the puzzle in the NFL?
You know, we saw him one time. We really didn't see a lot of film on him. He played awfully well against us. Aaron Murray seems to make great decisions. The ball comes out of his hands. Seems to be very accurate. I don't know that he has the same speed and tools that a guy like Johnny Manziel has, but he has great decision-making.
Real quick on Jadeveon Clowney.
Talented, extremely talented. A guy that's going to go to the NFL and play with the best. You know, it's how much he wants it, and it's a maturity that he's going to have to establish about his game.
Is that something you saw in terms of whether or not he wanted it down in and down out?
He was one of the most exciting players in college football, made great plays. You know, you just didn't want to wake him up early.
Coach.